Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and I'm so excited to chat with you again today about what I have been working on lately. I'm really excited, especially to welcome anyone new who found me for my Everything I Knit This Year video. I really appreciate all the love I've gotten on that video. It really means the world to me. I have so much fun doing this, and it's really cool when people appreciate it and like watching it. So it's been fun to see that. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm excited to talk to you about the many things I knit because, as you can tell, I'm a bit of a prolific knitter. it's 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 a joy, it's my craft, it's my hobby, but it is also my compulsion. I like to keep my hands busy, and this I've found in life has been the best, the most successful method. So that's where we're at. I'm not wearing a knit today because it's like 50 degrees out. I'm honestly warm in this shirt. It's raining, so it's just one of those days where the snow gets banished. I live near Boston and it's pretty coastal, so even though I'm in New England, the snow doesn't tend to stick super well here, but it is what it is. I just got back from Christmas in Maine with my family where it was nice and chilly, and I got to wear all of my knits, which was really nice, and I actually made quite a bit of progress, and I have my Christmas cast on with me, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to start with a finished object that I showed that all the knitting was done last time, but I finally did like my finishing. It was in my Everything I Knit This Year video, but I'm showing it for the podcast's sake, for continuity, so we keep it all in there. And that is the November Neck by Petite Knit. This was knit in Noro Ito in the color 1, though this color 1 is not the color 1 that's on Ravelry, so I don't really know. But it's this really pretty pink, green, and yellow. I'll put up a video of me wearing it because I have my mic on. I don't want to bump it putting it on. But I have these nice little coconut buttons that I put on. They have like a design on the reverse, but which you can't really see if I do that. But the dark just looked better with this color. And I've worn it outside in the cold already, and it worked out really well. This is actually, I think, the first cowl I've ever knit, and it's also my first brioche knit. I have knit scarves, but I'm not usually a scarf person, or I wasn't until I started living more in the city and doing a lot more walking. I found that all of a sudden wearing something over my face mattered a lot more than it did before. I never liked having anything in my face, but if you're going from like car to building, it's very different than walking around like a mile or whatever and getting on and off the train. So this has been a big help. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the colors, like I've said. The buttons are really nice. It's so funny because I didn't really process that because this flap hangs over, that these buttons are on one side and then these buttons are on the other side. So these actually don't work because to button them, you'd have to like do that. So it's just a decorative thing, but that's okay. They look cute. I like how it turned out. This is probably something that like I wouldn't knit again, but not because I didn't like it, just because it's very singular, I'd say. I don't really need another one. I'd probably try another type of cowl if I'm going to knit it again. But this is Petite Knit. It's a worsted or an Aran weight, but it's in on 3.5mm needles. What else? Yeah, that's all I think for this finished object. So I will get into WIPS. So this is the Dunzo one. Next I have the pattern that I have been working on for my little brother, and that is a Drops Design 5219, which is like this crazy pattern. It's a free one. I wouldn't necessarily recommend because it's kind of kooky, but we're working our way through it. And this is what I have. I have the sleeves knit as well, but since last time I have done the collar and did the collar steeking as well. This is knit in Drops Charisma in the navy and then just the pure white. I don't remember the specific color numbers, but just those two. I had him try this on with one sleeve like not attached on him at Christmas, and it fits him, so that was really good. It shouldn't take me too much longer to finish this up. I just have to get the motivation and to assemble it all and do some finishing, tuck some ends in, which there will be a lot, and do the knit down the folded hem or sew down the folded hem at the bottom. But this has been a cool project. It's a DK weight. The Drops Charisma is a superwash, obviously, and not obviously, you might not know that. But so the one thing I'm figuring out is what I'm going to do up here for this split. In the sample, there's 3 clips down here, but I think there isn't really enough space for 3 clips. And I don't think 3 clips will really look good for him. I think it's a bit of an aggressive look. So my thought process is I'll do a nice clip at the top and then do like hidden hooks and eyes in the bottom. So it'll still go together, but they won't be super obvious. And I found, this is one of my acquisitions, is I found on Etsy these super duper cool clips from someone who just salvaged them from a vintage sweater. I hadn't actually opened this bag yet. Oops, I just bent it a little bit. There we go. I found these super cool, sorry if my fingers look crazy, they're really dry. These super cool vintage clips. If you can't see them, I'll add a picture. But they have, gonna lose one. NOK for like Norway and the Olympic rings. Is that not like the sickest thing you've ever seen? And they weren't that expensive either. They're just these like sick tin clips. I'm like obsessed with them. But just one at the top, I think will look so good. I think it'll be super duper cool and make the sweater kind of insane, honestly. Like even more insane than it already is. I'm trying to hold it against both, but I think it's too slippery. It's not going to work for you to just hold it, but that'll be so cool. I'm super psyched about it. I honestly feel bad that like I'm knitting one of my brothers such a fancy sweater and the other brother is getting like a chill sweater. But the problem is my other brother isn't gonna wear a crazy sweater. Like, let's be realsies here. People have their personalities, they have their things they wear. My younger brother is much more particular about stuff. He likes to wear more outrageous things. My middle brother is not like that. He's like he'd forget his head if it wasn't screwed on kind of person. And just he'll get a new shirt and then suddenly he's got like paint and all over it, or he's like done something silly in it. So he's getting like a more not still a nice sweater. I'm doing one that's got cables, but we're not going to go like insane because this will probably not be a family heirloom for him. It will probably be something that gets beat up. So we're knitting for people's personalities so that we have a higher rate of overall success. So that's the pattern for my brother. I'm knitting him the men's small/medium. There are not a lot of sizes for this pattern, but that's okay. I'm really psyched about it. It's really cool. It's a very intense pattern, but you know, when someone's going to appreciate it, the time is okay. And I spend so much time knitting. I've made the choice to knit people really nice gift knits because I don't want all of my time to be just like knitting myself tons of stuff all the time. Like that doesn't make any sense. Got to spread it out so that when I'm 60 years old, I can still be knitting myself something and it's not just going into a closet with piles and piles of knits I already have. So that's my thought process. So nice knits are worth it. But yeah, I'm really excited that one's almost done. Hopefully in the next week or two, I can show you it totally finished. We will see. Sometimes I put it on the back burner for a couple weeks. Next, I have the Esther jacket by Petite Knit that I've been working on, and I have one sleeve done. I don't have any yarn attached right now because I just finished, as you can see, most of the skeins that I was on. I have to cake up some more. This is knit in the yarns that she originally suggested for the pattern, which is something I've never actually done. My in-laws were in Oslo like a month or two ago now, and so as a very special treat, they sent me this yarn. It's the Isager Jensen and the Highland wool, and it's 2 strands of the Highland wool, 1 strand of the Jensen, so it's a very special project for me. I did it in the original white because the other color options, the ones that had both Highland wool and Jensen in similar colors, were all like browns and things like that were kind of heathered, and I wanted something that was really going to show the texture. And my other white sweater I wear, like white cardigan, I wear all the time, so I figured I'd just go with white. Even though I like to do the bright colors and stuff, I'd go simple. I mean, I really need to wash that other white sweater because the sleeves are getting kind of dirty, but at least it matches everything. So yeah, this is going well. I have one finished sleeve. It's pretty easy pattern to memorize, which is why I've really enjoyed it, so I don't have to like look at the chart the whole time. I feel like my armhole is maybe a little small, but I definitely can block that out a little bit to like match. It's not like the armhole is super tight. I've had that before where I just totally made the armhole too small. It just needs a little bit of assistance in blocking. But I'm happy with this. I've been plugging along. I haven't been going super fast on it because it's a labor of love. And I've been trying to mix it up with some stockinette because I actually haven't knit a lot of like plain stockinette that wasn't color work or some kind of texture lately. So that's been fun. But yeah, going well on the second sleeve, almost done with the second sleeve, and then I'll go back to the body and keep plugging along on that. I'm excited for that one though. It's such a nice like vintage pattern. I know that's supposed to be the whole vibe. That was the point of that collection that Petite Knit did. And it's a worsted weight pattern, I believe, I think. But yeah, I had to go up 1 needle size because my gauge was a little small, which is kind of funny because I was using the exact yarn, but you know, it happens to the best of us. And my one last work in progress is the Amy sweater. And this was unexpected. It's knit in the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo. And this was my Christmas cast on. I had bought this yarn with a whole bunch of other things. I did a video a little while ago talking about it. I had like a big yarn haul of regular commercial yarns because there's this chain of stores near where my mom lives that does like liquidation and salvage and like insurance sales. And they had bought out a big yarn store of some kind. So they had all of these nice yarns, a bunch of Noro, like a bunch of all sorts of random stuff. And it was, when I went there, all 60% off of the original price. So I ended up spending a decent amount of money to buy, I think it was 2 sweater quantities, 2 vests, and like one skein that was actually for that I ended up using for the November neck. So I made an investment, but it was like 60% off of yarns that would never be that much on sale. So it was a really good opportunity. And this is like the last quantity of that I have actually from that big purchase. So this Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo, if I was knitting this sweater with it and I bought it normally, it would cost me like $87. But because I bought it on such a crazy sale, it's such a deal, it's like $35. So very big difference. If you haven't seen this before, it is 40% wool, 25% silk, 25% polyamide, and 10% mohair. This yarn is what Petite Knit used in her terrazzo sweater, I believe, with a mohair. I didn't really want to knit the terrazzo sweater because the turtleneck is really tight to your neck, and I wasn't really into that. I hadn't actually knit a turtleneck sweater before. Actually, I realized I knit a couple mock neck turtleneck slipovers, the Lulu slipover and the Eurus slipover. Both of those are mock necks. I like them both, so I thought I may as well knit a turtleneck sweater. I just never got around to it, maybe never liked the patterns or whatever, and I wanted to use this yarn. So I looked around for what I was going to make, and I was originally thinking, oh, I'll knit the Louvre sweater, because this is a sport weight yarn. The Louvre sweater is a DK. I knit up a swatch, and I was like, oh, I can probably get gauge with this, and maybe it's a little light, but the fabric's still okay. And then I was looking around, and I was thinking, I'd been also thinking about knitting the Amy sweater, and I had seen Amy of Knee Knits knit one in the Pure Gint in the like cocoa nibs, and it's like the most beautiful dark brown. I was like, honestly, I don't think this often, but maybe I gotta knit it that way because that was like really pretty. I really like that, and I had never used Pure Gint, so I was kind of like looking it up and finding a little information, and I was like, it's probably too expensive for me, but this is cool. And I'm like, wait, Amy sweater on Ravelry says it's a worsted weight, and Pure Gint is listed everywhere as a DK. Then I looked and I was like, it's basically the same gauge as the Louvre sweater. So I don't really know why it's listed as a worsted weight pattern on Ravelry, but this is a sport weight and it's fine. It's a good gauge. It's a fine fabric. Like maybe it's a little light, but it's been working out all right. So hot tip, you can use a DK for the Amy sweater. I know I should just look at gauge, but I don't know all the gauge, like what yarn per number of stitches or rows equals a certain yarn off the top of my head. I usually, when I'm looking at Ravelry, just look at like the tagged, what is it, with yarn weight and go off of that generally, and then maybe make some tweaks depending on the gauge. And so I totally missed that I could use this yarn. So yeah, I'm using this yarn. It looks really good. I'm very happy with it, just because I like the design of the Amy sweater a bit more than the Louvre sweater. I thought the 2x2 rib was really nice with the rolled edges. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I knit basically the whole yoke in like 3 days because it was stockinette in the round and I didn't have to look at it at all. I knit other stockinette in the round probably in the last year, but those were like my Monday sweaters where I was holding multiple strands together, so I still kind of had to look at it. But I knit most of this while watching the new Gladiator movie and then like some other movie with my family. So I just cranked away, and now I'm working on the neckline because I ran out of the first skein on the body. And I'll knit the sleeves. I know the sleeves are supposed to be really, really wide on this. I'm not really sure if I'm going to knit them that wide. I might knit one the way it's supposed to be, try it on, see how I feel, and then decide if I want to mod it to be a little narrower because I'm not really a huge sleeve person. This is knit on just 4mm needles, which is why I figured it would be fine with this yarn. So it's working out. I'm really happy with it. This is such a pretty yarn. I know it's like a 1-ply, so we'll see how it wears. I know people usually knit like a mohair with this, but I think it's pretty sturdy. It's so beautiful. I mean, I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be super fun for me. And it's a nice break for the stockinette. So that's been cool. I'm really excited. Very excited. I say it so many times, but I am. Did I have any other notes with that? No, I don't think so. What was the color for this? Color the tags over it. 14, I think maybe. I have a Ravelry page for it. But yeah, those are all my works in progress. I have a couple little acquisitions. I didn't really get yarn for Christmas or anything like that, but I got some fun notions for my family, so that is exciting. And I do have a bag of yarn that I picked up at the thrift store, but I'm thinking I might just show it and then do another video going through it all with you, because there are quite a few different cool single skeins. So I think that would be fun. But the couple of little notions I got was, oh no, the disco ball's gonna fall. There we go. I asked my husband for like retractable tape measures because I have just like a loose fabric tape measure that I use for everything, and it's like always a tangled mess in this giant mass. I wanted something that was small and neat and that I could tuck in a bag a little easier. So he just got me a pack of like 4 of these little ones, and they're like cheap, but as long as you're not like, I don't know, throwing them against a wall, they're fine. So that's nice. I'm excited about these. They've already been making my life easier, so that's fun. The other little thing that I asked him for was one of these like stitch marker counters. This one came from Etsy, I think. I'll find the shop if I can. It's got the little enamel numbers on it so that you can count what row you're on. And I always wanted one of these. I thought it would be really cool, but also my thought process was I wanted it the Sophie hood. And part of my issue with like the Sophie scarf, I've knit a Sophie scarf, is that I get really annoyed trying to keep track of when my last increase or decrease was, because it's really hard to see in the garter stitch. And so I end up having to do tally marks, and that's super annoying when you're knitting something that's so simple to have to stop and write tally marks. But with this, I can tell what row that I'm on because you just slip it up for each row, and then I know when I'm supposed to do my increase or decrease, and I don't have to stop and do anything. I'm sure I'll find other applications for it. Usually with sleeves and stuff, I can just count the stitches, so I don't really need this for that anymore, but I'm sure it'll come in handy on occasion. So I'm really excited about this. It's very pretty. I like the gold and the pink. It's a good color. So that was that. Just little things for my family or for my husband, which I very much appreciate. That's what I asked for. I don't really need them to pick me out yarn. But this is the bag that I got from Goodwill for $4. There's some cool stuff in here. I'm excited to show you, but it's kind of like too many things to also put in this video, I felt like, especially because there's a wide range of items. So I thought maybe I'd do another short video going through it for next week. But yeah, that's this. You can see there's some unspun in there, which is exciting. Some of it has labels, some of it doesn't. But that's the fun of thrifting yarn. You just figure it out eventually. I kind of stash it over time, and then every once in a while I take it all out, I look at it, and I think, what can I do with this? And then I make a fun project. So maybe this will fill in some holes and give me an opportunity this year. I'm thinking it might. So I'm excited about that. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't have any books to share with you this week because I kind of took a break after I finished my reading goal for the year, just to chill for a little bit. So maybe next time, hopefully next time, I've got some that I've just started. So I'll maybe finish those by the end. We can chat about them a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new, I'm so happy you're here. I love chatting about knitting. I have the most fun talking to you guys about this. Shoot me a comment about like if there's anything exciting you got for Christmas or whatever of knitting related things, and end of the year purchases, whatever. I'm excited. I'd love to hear about it. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. I can't wait to keep doing these for you in 2025. So I'll see you then. Bye.